under the scorching sun of Africa, as the relentless heat beats down on the vast, arid savanna, the Nile River snakes its way like a colossal gash, cleaving the parched land in two. It is not merely a source of life, but also a river of death, where existence and extinction intertwine in a brutal dance of nature. The water's surface sometimes appears calm, placid as a mirror, reflecting the azure sky and leisurely drifting white clouds. Yet, let no one be fooled by this deceptive beauty, for deep beneath the murky waters, an ancient terror lies in wait, silent and deadly. For millions of years, this realm has belonged to a primordial monster, the apex predator of these waters, the Nile crocodile. They are not just hunters. They are perfect killing machines, honed by millennia of natural selection. A mature crocodile can reach over 5 meters in length, weighing half a ton, a formidable mass of muscle and bone encased in armor-like scales, virtually impenetrable. Their jagged, razor-sharp teeth are not merely for tearing flesh, but for grotesquely crushing bone. Their bite force surpasses that of any other animal on the planet, stronger than lions, bears, or even great white sharks combined. A single snap is enough to shatter the skull of an adult buffalo in an instant, reducing the victim to a pulpy mess of flesh and bone. They lie motionless, their entire bodies blending into the mud and the water's color. Only their cold, golden eyes piercing the surface, like two deadly jewels observing the world around them. It is a patience that chills to the bone, a hunting strategy perfected over millions of years, waiting for that single, decisive moment of life and death. Nile crocodiles do not pursue their prey. They are masters of stealth and patience. They can wait for hours, even days, for that solitary massacre, a blood feast that provides the energy to sustain their ancient lives. Far away on the parched savanna, plumes of dust rise like colossal fingers reaching into the sky. It is the sign of a magnificent phenomenon, a perilous journey that no herbivore can avoid. The Great Migration. Herds of wildebeest, zebras, and tens of thousands of other grazing animals are embarking on the year's most monumental journey. The river crossing, hundreds of thousands of individuals, their footsteps a rhythmic drumbeat, make the very sky tremble with the thunder of hooves, the ground vibrating like a war drum. Their calls blend with the wind, creating a symphony both grand and tragic of life itself. They have no other choice but to cross this deadly river, for beyond it lie lush green pastures, life, water, and food that they crave after long months of struggling with hunger and thirst on the arid plains. As the colossal herds approach the banks of the Nile, a palpable tension hangs in the air. Thousands of eyes are bloodshot from thirst, from exhaustion, and most of all, from an overwhelming fear. They know, with a deep primal instinct, that ahead lies a formidable challenge, a fragile boundary between life and death. The riverbank becomes a jostling mass of wildebeest and zebras, each individual desperately seeking a safe spot to plunge into the water. Hesitation is etched into every gaze. Who will be the first? Who will be the first victim? A few daring, or perhaps most desperate, individuals finally leap in, splashing water high into the air, creating an irreversible chain reaction. The splashing water, the clashing of horns and bodies, the neighing of zebras, and the bleating of wildebeest form a chaotic symphony. Thousands more follow, and the space suddenly transforms into a churning sea of mud, stained reddish-brown by earth and the blood that is about to be spilled. It is precisely at this moment of extreme chaos, when all defenses are almost gone, when the survival instinct is pushed to its limit, that the crocodiles begin to move. Giant masses of muscle glide beneath the surface, their cold eyes briefly flashing before disappearing again, like ghostly apparitions. Underwater, they swim as fast as living arrows, silently yet lethally, heading straight for their chosen targets. A horrific bellow tears through the tense air. A young zebra, frantically struggling in the current, is snatched. The crocodile's jaws clamp shut with the force of thousands of kilograms. The sound of bone crunching like dry wood snapping. The victim is dragged to the bottom, vanishing from sight in an instant. The water immediately turns crimson, spreading like a gruesome ink stain, an undeniable sign of the slaughter that just took place. Panic quickly spreads through the herd. They trample each other, desperately trying to escape the circle of death. The weak, the young, unable to resist, are buried beneath a sea of hooves, amidst the churning water and mud. Crocodiles don't need to kill them all. They are cunning predators, only needing to choose the right moment and the right prey. A swift snap, a powerful tail whip like a lash, is enough to end a life. Their killing technique is chillingly brutal. The death grip, followed by the death roll, the crocodile spins violently underwater, crushing flesh and bone, tearing the victim's body into pieces. The dragged-down wildebeest struggle desperately in their final moments, their roars muffled beneath the murky water, with no one to help them. In less than an hour, dozens of lives vanish without a trace, becoming part of the brutal food chain established by nature. Yet, the herds continue to surge forward, for behind them lies gnawing hunger, the harsh deserts slowly swallowing life, the slow death if they do not move. And ahead, though full of death and danger, still lies the hope of survival, the lush green pastures beckoning. Each stronger, more resilient individual battles through the waves, facing death every second. Some are lucky enough to escape the jaws of the Nile monsters, trembling as they reach the other bank, gasping for breath, trying to regain strength after their struggle with death. But the weak, the young, or the old, that lack the strength to fight back, all become easy prey for these ancient predators. It is the cruel natural selection that nature has ordained. Only the strongest, fastest, and luckiest individuals can continue their journey. On the river's surface, white foam churns, the splashing water, the desperate cries of prey, and the terrifying growls of crocodiles merge into a deadly symphony, a tragic elegy of survival. Every migration season, Nile crocodiles feast, and the migrating animals must gamble their fate with death. There is no mercy, no exception, only the strong and the dead. That is the immutable law of nature. As the sun gradually sets on the fiery red horizon, painting the entire landscape in a magical orange and purple hue, the river flows on as if nothing has ever happened. The bloodstains gradually dissipate. The cries fall silent, leaving behind an eerie stillness. The crocodiles return to their motionless posture, only their golden eyes still visible on the water's surface, coldly awaiting the next hunting season. They are sated, and once again, they retreat into the shadows of the river. On the other bank, the lucky surviving wildebeest stand panting, their eyes still reflecting immense horror and exhaustion. They know they have overcome a terrifying ordeal, a harrowing brush with death. But they also understand that in the long journey of migration ahead, many other dangers await, other predators lurk, and the harsh challenges of nature persist. And so, year after year, the great migration recurs. The Nile River flows incessantly. Crocodiles lurk beneath the surface. And the relentless, brutal wheel of life and death in nature continues to turn eternally.